week long on ESPN.com, Ivan's been a big part of this, we have been imagining what the new college football playoff would look like. Well, Friday, we got our champion. According to all the smartest minds and calculations in the company, the Florida State Seminoles will repeat as national champs. 14 returning starters, including the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, quarterback Jameis Winston, have put them in prime position to win the inaugural 14 playoff. Here is how that will shake out according to the 13 members of our mock selection committee. The national semifinals will feature a rematch of last year's national championship. Meanwhile, Alabama will get past Oregon, and the Seminoles will go on to beat the Tide to become the first back-to-back champs since Alabama did it before them. So we have laid out a few teams that could potentially challenge the Seminoles for that national title. But, Joe, I'll start with you. Who is most likely to do that?
2 SEC teams in your first ever college football Final Four. That's the biggest fear of all the other conference commissioners.
Yeah.
All right, let's get 4 conferences in there in the first try. I think that's what the committee's going to do. But look, Alabama, they have a top 5 recruiting class every single year. I'm a believer in Jacob Coker. I don't believe that it is a sham, a joke, this notion that he almost beat out Jameis Winston. I believe he almost beat out Jameis Winston. They have the best set of offensive skill players in the nation and a ton of freshmen and sophomores who are ready to emerge on defense. Alabama.
What do you got?
I got Oregon. I got Oregon. I just like the fact, I love Marcus Mariota. I think before the end of last season, before he got hurt, he was the Heisman leader. And I think they've got, like Florida State, a lot of guys coming back, and there's also a hunger there with Oregon because of what happened last year. I think they're ready to go.
I like Oregon. I know they're going to score points this year. My biggest question mark with them is defense. They lose Nick Aliotti as a defensive coordinator, Taylor Hart, Wade Killikippy. They lose Avery Patterson, Paseko Locombo, some leaders on that side of the ball. There's still right now too many question marks for me on defense. Joe, I'm going to side with you. I think it is Alabama. And I think it's because of the style of football they play, as well as the players and the talent and the depth on the field. Defensively, they're big and strong and physical. That matches up well with the Florida State offensive line that returns 4 senior starters. Joe, you mentioned the skill players on offense. Remember, there's a familiarity with Alabama with respect to Nick Saban having coached with Jimbo Fisher at LSU where they won a national championship. But guys, the X factor is Jacob Coker. Ironically, the Florida State transfer I think is going to start at Alabama. Joe, you're right. There were players that thought he was going to beat Jameis Winston in camp. He's familiar with Florida State's players. Nobody out there should be worried about Alabama potentially winning a national championship with the first-year start. They did it in 2009 with Greg McElroy, did it again in 2011 with A.J. McCarron. I think Alabama today, here we are in late May, could unseat Florida State, who I do expect to be undefeated in the number 1 seed in our inaugural
Stronger arm than Jameis Winston, as dangerous on the move.
And a better runner.
And what I love about Alabama this year is, mindset, we poo-poo that. They feel that they are now the hunter and not the hunted. They have a chip on their shoulder, and an Alabama team with chips on their shoulders scares me.
You think about it, in the past 5 years, they've won 3 national championships, which is actually one more than the number of starting quarterbacks they've had. It has been a position that's been cemented there for Alabama.